What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of Connected by Creatures. I'm Bradley with Wrapped Around Reptiles, and this is my man, Zach Nava from Nava Reptiles. You all know that already.
Yep. Oh, man. What's going on, everybody?
Zach, how does it feel to switch from Instagram to YouTube? Try it out like this.
Man. I'm super freaking excited. I think I think the video quality is probably going to be a lot better because I know you and I both have better cameras on this setup. And then on top of that, like, this is going to allow us to start bringing guests on. I know we've already talked to a few people about coming on here with us, which is really exciting. I think it's just all around. It's going to be a lot better, man. It's easier to keep up with the comments because the stuff's all off to one side. It's just going to be a major upgrade. Like I'm watching it right here, dude. It looks so much better. I'm stoked.
Yeah, and the big thing to me, the big reason I wanted to make the switch is definitely the guests, because as much as I love our conversations and as well as I feel that we've done with it being just me and you, it's definitely been awesome. It's a good thing to think that we can bring somebody else in and join this conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. That was definitely the most exciting thing for me. Chris, you're right. I absolutely do need a better router. I think I'm actually going to upgrade to fiber internet here at the house shortly. So hopefully I won't have any of these issues going forward.
Yeah, it's a little bit glitchy, but it's going to come out all right. And also, if you see, our good friend from the UK, Marvel, has said the magic word Ultramel. So that makes two.
I just took a sip, but I'm not playing. I don't know. I might try to play for a little bit. We'll see. Yeah, this is a IPA that I really don't like, but it was free, and yeah, I remembered how much I really don't like it. I'm not going to say what it is because it's one of my company's brands, so I'm not going to tell anybody to shy away from it. It's just not my thing.
So anything new happened for you over the week that we need to enlighten everyone
on? Not really, man. Just same old thing. Working at the new job, enjoying that. I am I changed my streaming setup a little bit, so I've actually got a screen in front of me, so I can actually hit everybody's comments. Hopefully, as they're coming in, I won't miss anybody. I think I upset some people last week on Kathleen's stream because I wasn't getting back to everyone. I apologize for that. I was watching the comments back afterwards, so. No, yeah, it's just the same old stuff, man. If anybody wants to go check out my live, in case you missed it, I don't think anybody here did, but I did a live stream with Kathleen from Mellies and Exotics, which was a good time. She snuck a bunch of guests in there, surprised us. So yeah, nothing much.
Yeah, that was honestly a great time. Like, it was great to see you and John and Marshall and everybody on there together. So yeah, way to go, Kathleen, on that one. Definitely.
Oh yeah,
that was great.
So just a little bit.
A little bit about this channel, guys, and what we're trying to do is it's not only just an entertainment thing for us because we want to be entertaining, but at the same time we do want to shed some information and share that, and we want to have people on here that we're fans of and that we're proud of, and hopefully that comes through real soon. Like Zach said, we're talking to a few people right now that we kind of want to have at first. But I think that as this progresses and we get more and more people in here, there's going to be some names that don't get shown as much as Zach and I think they should. And we definitely want to try and share these people because they're awesome people, great people.
Yeah. Speaking of people that we're fans of, Brian freaking Cusco down in the comments calling us Alkies.
Well, Mr. Brian Cusco, I do have it on 100% proof that you drink more than I do.
I love the response. Says Brian Whiskey Cusco. Oh man, that's freaking great. But yeah, so to just kind of give you guys a heads up, I don't know. Do we want to say who we're talking about bringing on as guests? I don't know.
He's pretty much confirmed with me. So I think it'd be okay if we threw his name out.
Cool. So yeah, to kind of give you guys a heads up, some of you guys may know him. I think we're going to have Brian Fairley, or is it Farley? Farley?
I think it's Farley.
Brian Farley is hopefully going to be our first guest on the channel. I don't know if he's going to have his lovely wife on with him or not. We didn't really get into the details yet. No. But yeah, we're just excited about that one because Bradley and I both agree. Like he's just a super. Sorry, I'm Gus distracted from the comment. He's just a super humble guy. He doesn't really talk himself up as much as he should. He has probably one of the absolute best collection of super dwarf retics in the country. He rivals some people that consider themselves, like breeders in that sector. And he hasn't even produced yet. I think he's got his first pairings going, either that or it will be soon. So
I'm pretty sure this year is going to be his first season with the super dwarfs. But what a lot of people don't know about Brian and Reptile Revival, I don't know if we mentioned that, but Brian Farley's Reptile Revival, great guy. Like I've met him, and he's just one of those people. Him and his wife both, like Brian and Miss Kathy both, when they walk in the room, like it's just a better place. Like they're great people. But they used to breed boas, and they have a long history of reptile keeping. And
I didn't even actually know that about them. I found that out after way later in knowing them. I don't know why. I did not know that ahead of time.
Yeah, they're by no means novices.
They're not. I mean, they're breeding. They're trying to breed their own rabbits now, which Aurora, they might actually want to talk with you. I know they were having some issues. I don't know the specifics of what was going on, but they were having some production issues with them. So maybe you can, maybe you should make a YouTube video, help them out a little bit, give them some tips.
And I don't think we should try to dive too deep into Brian and give away all of his information before we have it on. But just know, guys, that when we bring him on, he's a great person, and I hope that through the magic of YouTube and streaming, that his energy can affect and infect you like it does me. But he's a great guy. On to our next topic. So last week on our Instagram, we implemented 3 new segments, and so I'm going to go ahead and jump into one of these segments, and I'm going to say, Zach, what is your drink of the week, my friend?
I can promise you it's definitely not that freaking Stone IPA I was just drinking. This week, let's just go with this Rolling Rock that I got in my hands. We'll keep it simple. I'm not going to go in real deep like I did last time.
I like it. So mine is going to be a Koenig Ludwig Bavarian Weiss beer. And it's my absolute favorite beer that I've ever drank my entire life. I'm definitely one of those people that if I'm gonna drink beer, it has to be cold. I'm not German, and I don't drink hot beer. My dad and my grandfather, they both leave their beer in the toolbox in the back of the truck in the dead heat of the Arkansas sun, and when it opens, you can see it.
Yeah,
and
I don't think I could do it.
I can't do it, man. I can't do it. But this beer I can actually drink at room temperature, and it's still delicious. So Koenig Ludwig.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I've seen it. I think they have it at the Total Wines that I'm in throughout the week. So I'll have to keep an eye out for it and give that one a shot.
Yeah, absolutely delicious, man. So a little bit about my week. Zach's aware of this, but nobody else is. So I thought I almost broke my hand yesterday. There was an incident that came up, and basically there was a piece of grating that was about 150 pounds that had slipped and almost or was gonna hit someone, and I grabbed it with one hand, and the weight of it swung my hand into a concrete wall, and it was not comfortable. So definitely has been a rough one with my right hand the past 2 days, if to say the least.
That was some interesting phrasing.
Yeah, I probably should have thought that out a little bit better.
Yeah. So I guess I'll do a quick update on babies. I know Mindy was asking about them. I'm not gonna get them all out and show them all off and everything. I mean, I can if everybody wants to see them or whatever. But yeah, they're still. I only have 2 of them that are eating. I think Chris, I told you that a third one had eaten. Nah, I walked in the snake room today and it smelled like something was dead. And what it was is the one that I thought had eaten had just squirreled it away somewhere in his tub. And even though I dug through the tub to try to make sure that he had not done that, he in fact had squirreled a rat away. So I had a dead rat in there with him for a couple of days, which is unfortunate and didn't smell too great. But yeah, it's unfortunate that I still have 4 babies that are not eating. But I am still trying frozen. If they don't eat by probably tomorrow or the next day, I'll probably go ahead and just get them some live like mouse hoppers or something.
Yeah, and you and I've talked about it, and I think everyone here has probably been through it at one time or two. There's a lot of times, man, it's hard to get your hatchlings to start on frozen thawed. And I mean, yes, there's tricks, and we've all seen Brian Cusco's tricks that he threw out and on his videos, and I mean, a lot of that stuff works, but sometimes, as much as we hate it, we have to throw in the lives, and the life of the animal that we're breeding and hatching is more important than whatever our qualms are.
Yeah, and I need to weigh them. I mean, they're only like 3 weeks old at this point. I mean, and they're all still super chubby little babies. So I mean, they're probably fine to go a little bit longer. I don't know. I guess I'm just being paranoid. I don't know how long. If people in the chat want to let me know like how long roughly they would let a baby go without eating before they'd start considering trying live. I don't know, Chris. I know you've been dealing with that pretty freshly. So if you could kind of give me an idea of how long you would wait. Cusco, why are you saying I'm a child? I don't understand. Because I'm giving up on feeding frozen? I don't know. That's the only thing I can guess, unless I've done something else I don't know about.
I'll tell you something about Mr. Brian Cusco, Zach. The more he gives you shit, the more he likes you. Well, that's definitely something I've learned. Shit. Definitely.
No, I'm the same way, man. Like, me, I talk everybody up, but I equally. Okay. Gotcha, Chris. Well, I mean, then yes, never mind. It's probably not necessarily as relevant of information to ask how long you would wait, because I'm sure obviously you've got live, so different timeline.
Right.
All right.
So our other segment, one of our other segments that we implemented last week was our musical artist or band of the week. And Zach, I'm gonna let you go ahead and start that one.
No, you go first, because I want to pull up my Spotify, because I'm trying to think through a few that I've been listening to today. I'll probably hit you with something different.
Okay, well, mine's gonna be because I got to recently move back home, and because this is our first time on this channel, and I want it to be something that's meaningful to me. I am from the hometown of Glenn Campbell. And if you guys don't know who Glenn Campbell is, he was huge in the 60s and 70s, had his own not reality show, but like variety show, had #1 hits, megastar, known for Rhinestone Cowboy. He was in the original I can't think of the name of that movie right now. Rooster Cogburn with
Well, and weren't you telling me like he's got all kinds of other hits that like most people don't even know are him?
Yeah, lots of them. Like and he did a lot of studio guitar work for people. He's an amazing guitar player. But yeah, definitely for the sake of me coming home, my pick of the week is Glenn Campbell. And if you guys haven't ever heard any of his music, if you're a fan of country music at all, go check out some of Glenn's stuff. I would recommend Gentle on My Mind or Wichita Lineman. Those are probably two of my favorite songs. They're not as popular as like Rhinestone Cowboy or Southern Nights, but Gentle on My Mind and Wichita Lineman. Please check them out.
Hell yeah. So I'm going to go with mine today because it's just what I had like one album on repeat all day long. It was Run the Jewels. I can't remember what the name of the album is, but Run the Jewels. They're some hip hop artists out of Atlanta. I don't always agree with everything that they rap about and everything that they talk about, but their music's good. The album was it's just called RTJ4. But they're some talented guys. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying, Brian, because I was laughing about your hand, Bradley. I can laugh about it now because he's been telling me about it for a couple of days. Yeah. Now that I know he's not seriously injured, or at least we hope not, because I don't think he's actually gotten it looked at, and his hand's like 5 times as big as it should be. he's got like I don't know if I'd call it a Hulk hand or a Hellboy hand.
Either way, my hand got smashed, so
yeah,
it is what it is. I mean,
Oh man,
if I'm gonna get credit for having Hulk hands,
I'll
I'll
take
take
that.
it. Like
I'll take it.
I feel like I'm pretty strong.
I mean, obviously, you must be because, like I said, based on what you said happened, man. If you hadn't have freaking been able to hold that thing,
Yeah.
back, probably would have freaking crushed you.
I mean, he's in the chat here, so ask Brian Cusco. He knows how strong I am, don't you, Brian?
Yeah, I don't know. I heard there was like something to do with some arm wrestling or something like that.
Hey, check out Miguel's video from Arlington, and you'll
Is
get
it in
to see
there?
him. Yeah, you get at the very end. Andy Gabb was filming it, and we
Okay,
did it. We did it right in the middle of the auction, and
that's awesome,
yeah, I beat Andy Gabb too. So.
man. I can't wait for shows to come back. I have got to go to a freaking Tinley show. Arlington
Man,
last, and I want to go to those too. But I just still haven't been to a Tinley show at all.
I really hope and pray that Tinley happens next year. Like, I hope that something happens soon with the coronavirus thing, whether it be a vaccine or whether it be whatever, but Tinley needs to happen. I can say that 100% sure that I will go to every Tinley that's available from now on. It's
Thanks for the heads up on that, Cusco. We'll look into it.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
Have a good night, Brian. Appreciate you stopping in, man. Seriously, thanks so much.
Yeah, it means a lot to me for Brian to be here. I know it means a lot to Zach as well.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, something that I've learned throughout all this, throughout my time in the reptile hobby, throughout my time being part of this community, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like, don't be afraid to reach out to people and say things, and just, if there's ever a time that you feel some sort of connection or some sort of, even if it's just fandom, and you want to reach out, please do it to anybody, because I've had experiences that I would never have had the opportunity to have. I've had, so many things happen in my life as far as reptile related because of Brian Cusco, and that guy owes me nothing. He never did. He never will. I made a comment on a video. He commented back, and we became friends. And, I've gotten to meet people and do things that I never would have done without Brian. And I'm forever grateful. I got to meet Brian Barczyk and have a behind the scenes free for all at his place because of Brian Cusco. I got to spend a great night with Forrest Fanning, got to hang out with so many different people and do so many different things. And it's all about this guy being just a humble, amazing person. And from all the people that I've come in contact with and all the people that I've met, don't be afraid to reach out to anyone. Garrett Hartle, he's done a lot for me. Like, it's great, and I know Zach has his own experiences.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about that at length on, pretty much every. Sorry, I was trying to look at comments live, but it just wasn't working the way I wanted it to. Yeah, I've talked about that numerously. What was I supposed to? What am I getting back to you about? Oh, Philip, did you? Oh, I totally forgot you called me the other day. I apologize, man. I think I was either asleep or I was working. Anyways, I'll get back to you either after this, Philip, or first thing tomorrow. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about that ad nauseum in terms of just how much help that I've had. I mean, literally when, just the first two people that you named. So what sparked me to start my YouTube channel, beyond just being inspired by guys like Cusco and Barczyk over the years, it was largely, it was a phone call that I had with Garrett. That phone call was a springboard to me sitting down that night and filming my first ever video on this channel, which for those that haven't watched it, it's like 2.5 minutes. The lighting's terrible. It's me, like, I'm like full COVID beard, like I'm looking a little rough around the edges. And but I just went for it, and that was but it was one of the greatest things I've ever done, because that was a springboard after that into meeting guys like Bradley. Really finally getting some time to actually be super active in Cusco's Discord, which again, that those people have now become some of my best friends. But after I posted that YouTube video, literally I think it was right. That was right around the time that Cusco had started his Discord. And he made the comment in there, or no, it was on one of his lives. He made the comment like, "Hey man, I saw your video you posted." And like, even just that meant so much to me, because again, at that point, I don't think I'd ever actually talked with Cusco, like face to face through video or whatever. And so that meant a lot, even just in that moment. But then like literally his next video, he put out a thing like shouting me out, directing people over to my channel, which was huge. Just stuff like that, just the things that they are absolutely not, required to do. There's no reason for them to do it. There's no benefit to them, but they do that anyways. And Garrett has done the same. He's plugged my name in more times in his videos in places and things that, he absolutely never has got to do, and it's never expected for him to do, and just other things he's done to support me, man. This hobby is just great. Like I said, I know I sound like a broken record because I talk about it every single time, but it really is that special.
But no, it's not that you sound like a broken record, because I feel like we all say that. I feel like we all talk about it every time that we, are in a certain group or we say certain things. We all talk about how much this community means to all of us, because I've met amazing people in this community. I've seen so many things that I never would have had the chance to see. And I met so many people, and that for those of you who hadn't realized it, that's why we named this channel what we named it, because it applies to Zach and I. It applies to us and all of you. We are connected by creatures. If it wasn't for these animals that we love, if it wasn't for, these castaway creatures, these outcast animals that, we wouldn't be connected right now. We wouldn't be talking to you guys. We wouldn't be hanging out with each other. And it's crazy to think that there's so many people that have this disdain for reptiles. They have this hatred and this misunderstanding, when these misunderstood animals that are so beautiful to all of us can connect so many people, and so many great people, so many, caring and loving and, genuinely nice people, that I feel like I'm jaded sometimes, that I don't see the goodness in people, but I always see the greatness in everybody in this community. And that might be, being biased a little bit because this person has this common interest with me, but it's a great community, and I'm proud to be part of it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, man. It's I don't know, I don't really think I can add anything to that. It's just the facts, it's, I could say like my like just mental health and everything has been so improved by so many people in this community. I get frustrated some days, and I might make a comment in a Discord, or just, just venting, just the people that I consider my friends. And man, I'll get, messages on Instagram and, messages in the Discord. Like, and it's normally just like, it's not even people wanting to know what's going on. Most of it's just like, hey man, it's all going to be good. Just like even just an encouraging message, with no expectation of a reply at all half the time. Just tell me to have a good day or whatever. It's just stuff like that, man. It's tremendous. And I'm with you on that in terms of just like, sometimes, I don't necessarily expect to like everybody, because there's a lot of jerks in the world, but it does, at least to me, seem like the reptile hobby is just filled with a lot of really good people. Maybe that's because I stay off of the Facebook groups these days. It definitely makes it a lot easier to not see any of the bad in the hobby if you're not involved in any of those things. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And like I said, I'm really excited to see where we're going to go with this platform. So.
Yeah, most definitely. And I am too, man, because I feel like we've done well with Instagram, and we've reached, several people that I'm proud to say that we've reached. We've had people tune in, and the support from you guys has been amazing. Like, everyone that tunes in and comments and talks and hangs out with us. Like, I'm so thankful and grateful for every one of you. And I got to give a special shout out to Cure Constrictors, Jeremy, because Jeremy has 100% supported us. Like, for all the lives that we've done, Jeremy's been right there. And, you know, from the first one that we've done to all of them, like, Jeremy's been a huge supporter. And not that everybody else hasn't either, because you all have, but just, I got to give a shout out to Cure Constrictors, because from beginning to end, he always hangs out.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to read the comments on my phone. For some reason, the comments on my webpage have frozen. It just says new. It tells me there's new comments, but I can't see them. So that's just freaking great. Oh, uh-oh.
So I'll throw some comments up on the screen, Zach, so you can see them.
I think I'm caught up on here now. What's up, John Feely?
John Feely, yeah. What a bad friend, man.
He is. No, that guy's the absolute. He's one of the worst individuals in the hobby. We were just talking about bad people that are rude on Facebook groups in the hobby, and it was like John knew that we were talking about him. So here he is.
Yeah, speak of the devil, so they say.
Yeah, and in this case, he is the actual devil. I'm convinced.
No, man.
And I can't see the comments in real time, so I can't even see if you're talking trash back to me, John. So I'm starting to feel bad.
No, he's not. He's giggling. He's giggling. So, yeah, and back to how shitty of a friend, you know, Kathleen and John are for not being here on time. But
I wasn't gonna bring Kathleen up. I don't even have any words for that one. You know, she invites me on her show one day and just uses me, and then just throws me away and doesn't even want to watch my live. You know, that's fine. Ultramel is definitely the devil, and I'll drink to that one.
Yeah. Everyone, you know, even if you're not playing the Ultramel game, you should drink to Ultramel's the devil.
I feel like most people will at this point. One of two things is starting to happen. Like, everybody that I come into contact with that has any understanding of me and the Ultramel stuff, they're either like talking to me and saying that they now love Ultramel and they're getting into it because I keep talking about it and I'm getting other people talking about it, which is so huge to me to have like any kind of an impact on any individual gene. You know, it's again, I use it up the word all the time, but it's just very validating. You know, it makes me feel good about the fact that, you know, that's kind of been my goal, is to build that project up. But it's either that or they're telling me that they freaking hate it because of the drinking game, or they hate it because, I don't know, they're more of a Monarch fan or something like that. But it's definitely been pretty polarizing. But I'm good with that, man. I'm just gonna keep leaning into it. So I'm waiting on people to start talking smack about the Master Ultramel nickname. I know that's coming down the pipe.
To your credit, though, almost everything that's important to people is super polarizing, you know, like
sure.
the things that people spend most of their time arguing or most of their time thinking about are polarizing subjects. So maybe you're onto something. Maybe this Ultramel thing, you know, as much as some people talk shit about it, as much as some people, you know, may not like it and others may love it, there you go. That might be the key.
I'll drink to that too. Yeah, man, it's exciting. Like I said, it's just I know, man. I'm telling you, like, you know, it's they say you get back what you put out. You know, like what you put out into the universe, you know, eventually is going to, you know, come back around to you. And I'm really leaning into that concept. I definitely kind of buy into that stuff in terms of, like, you know, if you put out negative energy, if you come with negative attitude, you know, you're going to find what you're looking for. Yeah, Jeremy, we'll have to dive into that, man. You let me know the project and maybe we can work out some kind of a deal where, you know, you get me involved in the project and then I have something to be excited about. You know, I'm just saying, like, maybe we work out a trade for some kind of Ultramel to you and I get something that you're working on. I don't know.
So, I know that I tooted his horn a little bit about him being a supporter, but Jeremy's actually the other person that we've been talking to about having on as one of our first guests.
His freaking logo is awesome. I don't know why I think is like the first time I've seen it, like where it was like blown up to where I can really see the details. It looks freaking awesome. I like that.
So
Sorry.
no, you're good. So Jeremy works with a lot of old world colubrids, and he does ball pythons as well. He's actually got something really, really wild going on with ball pythons right now. I think he might have a new highlighting gene. Because and this isn't private information. Like Jeremy puts this out. There are some projects that he's working on that Zach and I know about that we're not allowed to talk about right now. But
yeah, I feel privileged that he would share that stuff with us, man. He's
most
like you said, he's a good dude, and I know he's a little bit like more private in terms of the way he carries himself in the hobby and stuff. But he's got some impressive things going on. So I'm going to be excited if he'll come on with us and talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, most definitely. Because if what he's working with is actually going to be something that comes out, it's huge, guys. Like it's literally huge because it's something that I've never seen before.
It's a game changer.
I'm pretty sure that other than the people that Jeremy has shown and the people that he knows, that nobody else has seen it before either. So it's a big thing, and I can't wait to have him on here, and maybe we can get him to talk about some of it. Not necessarily show a picture, but maybe we can get him to talk about a little bit of it.
Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for people that maybe we could have on as like our next guests or anything like that, dude, we got 16 people in here. That's awesome. As guests, like if you guys have ideas for people that maybe are you feel like are like underappreciated in the hobby, because I think that's kind of going to be our target at least initially, and start grinding some of those out. Yeah, like that would be great. And I know Bradley, we've talked about it briefly. There's a chance we may do some like secondary of these throughout the weeks period, like maybe once in a while, depending on what our schedules are like, and if we've got people that can't come live on Friday nights, like if that doesn't work, we're willing to kind of finagle it to where we can make it happen. So just kind of something to keep in mind, because any input from you guys is always appreciated.
Yeah, most definitely. And our dedicated slot, our dedicated time is Friday night, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we will be here doing this with you guys, with as many of you that'll come and hang out with us every Friday night. And
Corey Martin, that would be good. She's a good one.
That would definitely be good. And if there's a guest that is interested, but they have other things and prior engagements on Friday night, we will do some special time slots, and we'll try to give as much notice up front as we can to give everybody the update that we will be doing an extra show, an extra thing. But we'll definitely, it's more for us right now to try to spread people's message that aren't as big on social media, that aren't doing a lot of media things, that we feel are really good for the hobby, have a ton of information, and that we look up to and we're inspired by, and we see. And to me, it's not something, I don't necessarily have to look at somebody that has more animals than I do, or has a bigger platform than I do, or breeds more than I do, or I'm inspired by people that are just doing something that they're happy with, and something that
Bradley, we've talked about it before too, where like for me, a lot of times the people that I learn the most relevant information for me from are the people that are just ahead of me, because it's fresher in their mind. Like they can speak more relevantly to me because they're like, oh, I was just in your shoes a year ago. So that experience is much more relevant and more fresh for them, and they can really, and the timeline is a lot, because it's like I've mentioned it before, like if I can get, information from Brian Barczyk on how to grow in the hobby, that information might not necessarily be as relevant to me, because I don't have the resources that he's got. And then on top of that, like when he was at the spot where I'm at in the hobby, and I'm not saying that he can't give me, information, he definitely can teach me a lot, but, I
know exactly what
you know what I'm getting at. Like it's just a matter of, if you just did something last week and you just had to deal with it and you just learned how, like you're going to be really fresh and really excited to, to teach me about it. It's going to be relevant info. Right. So I just think that's that's the way that I tend to kind of look at stuff.
Well, I love Brian Barczyk.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Like, Brian Barczyk's a great guy.
Dude, so do I.
I've got the opportunity to meet him, and I hung out, went to his house, ate dinner. Keep checking in. I'm gonna auction off his phone number at some point.
I'm sure he would appreciate
if we can get 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna auction off Brian Barczyk's phone number. Don't quote me on that,
dude. You know how funny it would be. So let's say we did this, right? Let's say we paid for him to get like a little prepaid cell phone, and we just sent it to him and didn't even say anything. But it's his. He owns it. That's his phone number. You can call it all day. He's probably not going to answer. But that would be hilarious. That would be absolutely hilarious. I don't think people would be real happy with us. Brian probably wouldn't be too super stoked about it either, just to have his name, thrown into something like that. But it would be really funny. And I don't know why my brain works that way, that I would even suggest that.
I mean, probably the same as me just throwing out on our first video, our first live, that I'll auction off Barczyk.
Yeah, why not? You're gonna get a freaking text after this. It's like, dude. Don't even joke about that.
But no, so what I was getting at before I got off on that tangent was he's at a level right now that I don't even know if I aspire to be that big. Like, I don't even know if it would be amazing. Like, it would be great to get to live that life every day, to have that facility and go there every day and have those animals. But I honestly, at this point in my life, like, I don't have that vision right now. No.
And that's hard that's a hard one. That's a hard bridge to build, man. Yeah, to go from doing like what you and I do, working, just working regular jobs and having this as just our passion.
Right.
God, I mean, because again, obviously, that's been his path since forever. Like, he started down that path when he was 15 years old.
Yes.
And he's only just now where he's at. And I think a lot of people forget about that because, everybody always wants to look at the success and not all the work that took to get there. The same way they do with Miguel. Everybody just, this guy's got money and now he's successful. Like, no, that's not the way it works. He came from nothing. The same way Barczyk did. So
last night, when I made that post on Facebook and I sent you the text message and said, did you see who liked the post?
Yeah.
And I was talking about Miguel.
Yeah, Katie, within literally like 3 minutes.
Yeah. Katie literally looked at me and said, he's always on his phone. And I said,
that's her takeaway.
Yeah, that was her takeaway. But I was like, that's his networking that's why he is who he is.
His work. Yeah.
Like, anybody, you could take anybody and they could throw money at reptiles. Yeah. And that doesn't mean shit. Because it's his marketing of himself. It's his marketing of his brand. It's his networking. Like, that's why he's at where he's at. That's why he's selling ball pythons to Ozzy's grandkids. That's why he's, making videos with this person and that person and doing this, because he pushes, he works. Like, that dude works. And he's on his damn phone at all times because he's working at all times.
Yeah, because man, even when I met him at Arlington, I mean, he was hustling all day. Like and same thing. He would stop. Anybody want to take pictures with him? Anybody want to talk to him? It didn't matter who it was. He'd stop. Just super humble. Just having a good time with everybody. Man, like, shook my hand, remembered my name when he saw me. I've never met him. I've talked to him a few times through Instagram, and that's it. And like, through comments and stuff and YouTube, but just good dude. Like I said, I feel like we're always just talking people up, but I'm happy with that. Like, I don't feel like enough people freaking do that in this hobby. I don't know why that bothers me so much, but I think just because, like, there's so many people that are out there just super negative on the hobby and just talking about how bad it is and this, that, and the other. And I just would tell people, just jump off Facebook. Like I said earlier, like, get out of the Facebook groups, come hang out with us for a little while. We'll introduce you to all the good people in the hobby. That's what I love about Cusco's group, man. Like, anybody that I meet that's just like super positive and like just, a good person in the hobby, I'm like, please fucking come join this group. I'm like his biggest salesman for his Patreon, I feel like sometimes, but it's worth every penny that he gets, and just the community he's built has just been great, man. It's my favorite place in the world.
And to your point, man, like, there are so many people that sit and hunt and look for that one thing that they can talk shit about somebody for. Well, I feel like I can speak for you and me that we're not afraid to be fanboys. You know, we're not afraid to ride somebody else's stallion and be like, yes, we're going to the mountaintop with this guy and this guy, and that guy.
Yeah, I'm good with
it. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm proud of that. Like, I'm proud that, you know, I get to see badass shit on the internet and get to hang out with these people, and you know,
and for me, it's credit where credit is due. It's credit. It's just, I'm just giving people credit. That's all it is, you know. And you, again, you guys see it. I do that shit for everybody. I talk up everybody as if they are Brian Barczyk, you know, from, you know, just all of y'all. I as much as I possibly can, you know. You know, I spend probably 90% of my time at all times talking up other people. It's just, you know, it's just what I do.
You talk them up like they're who?
I said, I'm saying I talk them up like just the same way that I talk up Brian Barczyk. In other words, I'm not giving any more attention to one or the other. I probably actually talk about y'all more than I do him. So.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna have to execute a dog if it keeps barking right here. I don't know.
Well, you know, maybe don't do it live on YouTube.
Maybe do it live on YouTube.
I mean, that might be the quickest the channel has ever been launched and then taken down. I'd have to know what the record is for it, but yeah,
I think we might win.
Have you seen that documentary, Don't Fuck with Cats, or Don't Mess with Cats, or something like that?
I think it's Don't Fuck with Cats, and
I think it is too.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy, Bradley.
Wait a minute. I'm glad you brought that up. Because
what? That's what you're glad I brought up.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I feel like that goes two ways. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, of course, 100%, you shouldn't abuse animals, no matter what the animal is. I'm not defending that jackass at all. And obviously, everyone here loves animals, and you all understand that, you know, by no means is anybody really talking to that, but the other people, like, you are one badass armchair detective to do the shit that those people did to find that guy. Dude, I don't have that much time.
I know, because the whole documentary was literally just like a bunch of people, like you said, just armchair detectives. Like, it was literally just like people in their basements with more time on their hands than I will probably ever have, and they dedicated it just to tracking that dude down. Like, they were breaking down the images individually and stuff. Yeah,
dude, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's terrible. I almost couldn't finish it. It was it's like it just kept getting worse. And the thing is about that documentary that's crazy. So, dude, when I was in, I think it might have been right after high school. I don't remember exactly, but I remember not the cat video. I had never actually seen that prior to the documentary, but I had seen the video where he kills that dude. Sorry for anybody this is spoilers for. It's a crazy documentary.
We got to give spoiler alert, Zach. Like, you can't just dive into when he kills that dude. Damn.
Yeah, but yeah, spoiler alert. There's a dude that he kills, and he videotaped it. And I remember that video going around the internet when it originally happened. And I had no idea that there was any connection to that, to any other videos. I had no freaking idea. But I remember when the guy got arrested and the whole thing. So it was just like a major like flashback for me. Like 15 years later, I find out all this other stuff the dude did. I was like, my freaking God. Like, I remember when the dude went to jail.
Yeah, I mean,
or was like finally caught. I don't even remember what happened to him after that, but yeah,
like crazy
nuts. Situation. And again, I didn't even know about how he got caught. I had no idea. I just thought like, oh, he did what he did. He filmed it, and they caught him right away. I had no idea of all the other investigation and stuff that was going on that was done not by police, but by just individuals all over the world.
And that's what I'm saying though. Like, that one lady that was on there, bro, like, she would take a picture and search Google Maps for days and weeks and weeks and months and years.
Yeah,
to
like
find where this one picture. Like, that's some hardcore obsession. Like, yes. And I mean, I'm not saying that dude didn't deserve someone.
No, I'm glad
to be obsessed with.
I was going to say that was my takeaway from that documentary. I think I had to focus on this more than anything because it's the only way I could stay positive about it. I had to focus on. I love that there are people like that exist. You know what I mean? I love that there's people out there that, are passionate enough about things to, to spend that amount of time, to try to just see justice done.
Well, you know what I love, Zach? I love that in our very first live on this channel, I get to highlight this. That's what I love. I love the fact that I get to highlight something to do with some necrophilia stuff on our very first video. Thank you, Tom.
Man.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, for those that have not figured it out already and didn't already know this going into it, this is not probably going to be a podcast that you watch live with your kids, or let your kids listen to probably after the fact. I feel like I've probably already dropped a few F-bombs. I don't know. I don't notice when I do it half the time. So yeah, just kind of a note that I feel like I should make now.
Okay, so to follow that up, necrophilia stuff.
You've never met my kid.
My pleasure. And
oh man, appreciate you, Tom.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's great. So yeah, and like Zach said, it's not aimed towards children, but at the same time, my daughter's sitting right over there.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say,
she's listening, like
yeah.
I'm
do it whatever at your own discretion.
Right. I'm a very open parent and a very honest parent, and I don't hide anything. Even sometimes when it's uncomfortable. But from the time she was 2 years old and old enough to understand what I was saying, I've always told her every day that there's nothing that she ever has to be embarrassed to talk to me about. There's nothing that I will ever get mad at her for asking me. And I want communication to be the biggest thing in our relationship, because I feel like way too often parents aren't having that communication with their kids, and they're missing the opportunity for, if something bad was to happen, for that connection to be there. And
you see it posted by people all the time. It's like, I want my kid. I don't want my kid to have something bad happen and think, oh crap, I've got to call my dad. You want him to be like, first phone call, like, I'm calling my dad because he's got this.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's huge, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any kids, but I definitely agree with that, and I just agree with, in general, just showing people kind of the reality of the world, good, bad, or otherwise, because you're not always going to be around to filter everything out from them. I mean, obviously within reason, but yeah, I mean,
and
at the end of the day, we got to send our kids out in the world, and
it's a rough place, man. Yeah. And the world don't give a shit about you or me or what we want the next person to see or hear. And I would much rather, me talk to Lainey about the darker side of life.
Yeah, and than for her to experience and it'd be like, I didn't know,
and meet it head on.
Yeah, I didn't know that this is how the world was. Yeah, man, it's just about it's just about preparing them. So no, that's huge. And it's funny. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about it all the time. He cusses when he does like all of his presentations, and he's like a like a public speaker and does all kinds of events. For those who don't know Gary Vaynerchuk, he's where I get a lot of my inspiration on the business side of things, in terms of like the way that I promote myself. A lot of the advice that I give is nothing that's from me. It's all a lot of just advice that he's given out over the years. So if you don't actually watch him, definitely do. He's got an amazing podcast himself that's on all the major platforms. My Spotify, like my year wrap up thing, I think I listened to it. It was like 3,000 minutes of all just Gary Vaynerchuk. So anyways, getting to my point, he says it all the time. He's got young kids. And he's like, look, somebody in an interview was like, now, you cuss a lot in your presentations. And she was kind of scolding him for it, And he's like, yeah, I do. He's like, because I believe in being real. And he's like, I'm not going to filter myself or change the way that I speak to try to, he's like, I feel like it's taking away from how I actually am. Like, if I'm talking to my friends, this is the way I'm going to talk. And so he's like, that's just the way I speak. And she goes, well, do you cuss in front of your children? He goes, absolutely. And she's like appalled, her face is like, oh my God. And he goes, listen, he's like, there's a lot worse things in the world that my daughter might besides go to school and say fuck for the first time. He's like, I don't care. It's it's a word. It's not hurting anyone. It's not, depending on the context, it's probably not insulting anyone. He's like, it does no harm. He's like, I'm just not that kind of parent. I'm not. He's like, I'm not going to. Again, like just the point. I'm not going to filter the world to my kids. Yeah, and that's exactly right, Alyssa. It's just exposure. It's just about exposure. Again, reasonable exposure to reasonable things whenever possible. But
to, I guess, fuck it, yes, to toot my own horn. I have a great kid. Like my kid is amazing, and she's honestly one of the most kind-hearted and emotionally attached people that I have ever seen. And do I want to take credit for that? Yes. But is it me? No. It's, I spend X amount of time with my daughter because I work a lot, and her mom's with her way more than I am. And her mom's favorite word is fuck. And like, but I could literally right now, I could have Lainey come over here and I could show her $100 bill and tell her right here on this live stream, say a cuss word, and she wouldn't do it. And she hears me all the time. And but at the same time, anyone that's watching this right now, if I was to say that they were hurt or there was something wrong with them, she's empathetic. Like she's literally an empath, man. Like she would feel it with you and she would go through it with you to the point that it would, cause her emotion. Like she would truly feel emotional about it. And am I proud to have that person as my child? You damn right, because there's not that many people like that in the world, and that it's not just a face value thing. It's not superficial, because anybody can say, oh yeah, but like not very many people truly are empathetic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally get that, man. I'm a little bit that way myself. Sometimes to my own detriment. It can sometimes it can hurt. Because sometimes you care too much about people that don't really reciprocate. Which I'm not like crapping on the concept, but yeah, no, I'm a little bit that way myself. So I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, no, I think that's great, man. Yeah, I was actually having a conversation today with the guy that I was working with, just while we're talking about kids and stuff like that. This guy that I work with, he was telling me he said Zach, he's always telling me about his son. He's got a 17-year-old son. I think it's actually his stepson. I could be wrong. Anyways, he's raised him since he was young, and he told me today. He said, I sat down and spoke with my wife about it. He's like, we both kind of agreed that like we failed him. Like we did not properly prepare him for life. We didn't set the proper expectations for him, about how to be. And he's like, I just don't know like how to, come back from that. He's like, he's just so lazy. He just doesn't care about anything, and that hurt me to hear. Like it hurt me for him. To have a 17-year-old kid that you just don't know what to do with. I don't ever want to be in that position, and I don't want anybody to like think illy or badly about that guy. But because trust me, he's a good dude. He's like one of the hardest working freaking people I've ever met in my life. But things happen, and yeah. So just to your point, like I think it's great that you have such a good relationship with your daughter because I know you work a lot, and you previously were having to travel so much for work and everything else. And I hope that's gotten better, man. Do you think that your kind of quality of life and stuff is going to be as improved now as what you're hoping?
1,000%.
Yeah, that's huge, man. And you cannot put a dollar value on that.
No. And
that's amazing.
I think more so than anything, with the changes that have happened recently and us moving home and, being back here, it's more than just the comfort level. It's more than just the financial part. It's more than just being around the family, man. Like I'm in a better place. Like I'm mentally and emotionally in a better place to where like I'm more energetic. I'm like, dude, I was coming home and going straight to bed because I was beaten down and tired,
Yep.
And like I feel better now than I did, and I feel like that's only going to get better as time goes by.
Oh, for sure, man. It is. It's and you know, again, just like even having time, you know, more time to make it easier for us to do stuff like this. You know, with you being, you know, settled in the same place every day,
Yeah, for sure.
all that like this, it's gonna open up so many doors. And you know, I've talked about it before. You know, I'm really hoping to not to like dive into the whole like 2020 thing, but you know, this year has been really rough on a lot of people, and it has really forced a lot of people to make a lot of changes. Some of those good, some of those bad, some of those just kind of neutral, where it's just like you don't really know what's going to happen, you know, or how to even really feel about it because it's still in kind of still happening. But I really hope to see. I know for you and I, it's going to be this way that this year is actually going to end up having been something really good for us.
For sure.
In the sense that not to shine positivity on something that's been so awful for a lot of people. But yeah, I just, you know,
Well,
I just think that for some people, it's going to present opportunities. You know, change can be a good thing, I guess, is just what I'm trying to get down to realistically. Is that, you know,
it's not like you're gloating though. It's not like you're saying that
I'm just
2020
pointing
was
out
great. Like
I'm just pointing out our particular circumstance, and I'm excited about that. And the only reason I even bring it up is again just to I guess just I like to just, you know, speak positivity out in the world. You know, for some people that maybe are feeling like this has really sucked for them. You know, sometimes just having another perspective is good. You know, because I definitely felt that way. You know, I still struggle with that a little bit. Like, for those that don't know, again, like I was a bartender for the last 3 years, and that is literally, I kid you not, is the favorite job I've ever had. It's the first job I ever had that I really liked, because everybody knows, you know, we all go to work every day. Most of us don't love our jobs. I'm not necessarily in love with the new job that I have, you know, not yet. I might get there. And so that's so my struggle right now, you know, just to, again, just, you know, to point out that it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's just like I feel like I was forced to take this new job, and I was forced to leave my old one, and there's really no choice. I have no choice in it, you know. It was I have bills that I have to pay. This is a job that's available. It's in my field. It suits my background, and I'm going to be good at it. I know I'm going to be good at it, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I'm not liking it right now, because I feel like I was forced to take the job. You know, I feel like I was forced to make a decision I didn't want to make, and nobody likes to have that feeling. But I'm really trying to look a lot more long term now, and I dream job, stuff like this. You know, if I could have like a successful podcast, you know, with enough sponsors to pay my bills, you know, between I have so many plans for 2021 is going to be huge for me and Bradley both. Like, Bradley's started a new job. The money's good. You're back home. You're not paying for two houses. Like, that presents a lot of opportunities. You know, the social media side of things, like, we both have personal YouTube channels. Like, so to answer for myself, because I don't want to speak to what Bradley's got going on, but
I'll answer. I'm literally when you get finished.
Yeah, I was gonna say, please do. So literally, my 2021 right now, off the top of my head, I want to have a podcast, a separate non-reptile podcast. I want to do lives on my YouTube channel. I want to continue doing these lives with Bradley, plus my personal YouTube channel. So that's like 4 things a week that I absolutely want to do. Even if like my non-reptile podcast is once a month, I want to do that, because I've literally already got people asking to be guests. And I'm not talking about nobodies. I'm like, not saying that anybody's a nobody, but I'm talking about like legitimate people that I can't believe would want to actually sit down with me, and they asked me to start my podcast. So stuff like that's really exciting. So just a lot of big stuff like that. That would be my absolute dream, would be to have a podcast, because I think in the last 6 months I really realized, just again to say it, I love fucking talking to people and at people, like I'm talking at you, Bradley, and everybody else here. But I just love to talk to people. It's so much fun. I like to learn from other people. I like to get other people's energy. And like I was saying, I'm kind of an empath. Like I feed off of the people around me, man, you know? And so I love getting the opportunity to talk to people that are successful in their fields, no matter what that is. It's just a blast. So I think that would be my dream job. And I did not have that answer 6 months ago. Absolutely did. I'm serious. Like, prior to COVID, I was struggling so much with depression, because it's hard to not get down when you don't know where you're headed. You know, it's hard to care about getting up and going to work every day when you don't know what you're working towards. It's like, it's hard to have a purpose. And finally, I really do feel like I have a purpose. I have a direction. And I've got so many great people like Bradley and everybody that's in the comments right now, and so many others that are pushing me to have a purpose every single day. So it's super exciting. And I'll pass the torch off to Bradley if you want to kind of dive into that same thing, man. Like, what's your dream?
Yeah. So my dream job has been the same thing for a long, long time. And if I could wake up and do what I love to do every day, I would basically do the same thing that Brian Barczyk's doing with the Reptarium. I would share the love and the passion that I have for reptiles with kids and people that don't get the opportunity to see some of these things, and change people's minds on some of the negativity that is surrounded by these different entities, whether it be Facebook or whether it be their grandma told them something when they were a kid, or whether it be their friend gave them some bullshit scenario that never happened about a snake sizing a woman up to eat them or something like that. But
yeah,
like my dream job would to be just spending time with animals and sharing the love that I have for them and educating people and watching that little kid's eyes open up, like I was talking about last week with the Boy Scout in my yard. Like, if I could make a living by seeing people's eyes light up like that, I would die happy. It's amazing to me, just that feeling, because I know exactly what they're going through. I know exactly what they're feeling. I know exactly what they're thinking, because I think it every time I touch an animal or every time I hang out with. But to have that new experience to somebody who's never gotten the chance before, that's everything to me. And I would absolutely love to to be able to continue doing this with Zach and my own personal YouTube channel, at my Wrapped Around Reptiles YouTube channel. I would love to get to do more collaborations with people. I would love to do a collaboration with Mr. Shane Kelly here from Small Town Exotics. But no, honestly, man, like my dream job is to work with children, to work with kids, with animals, and have a place to where it's not like it was when we were kids, to do what so many people are starting to do right now, to where it's not just a zoo. It's not just a walk in, look through glass. Like, it's an interactive experience, to where I can take a 10-year-old kid and I can hand him a 12-foot retic, a 15-foot retic, and let him not only enjoy that animal, but to feel its energy and to feel its power, and to see that it's not out here looking to eat people or to kill people or to do whatever it is that you saw on TV. Mm-hmm. Like, it's an amazing experience, and they're beautiful animals. And like, that's, if I could, and even if it's just through podcasts or if it's just through whatever, if I could make my living and feed my family by sharing the love for reptiles, for snakes and lizards and crocodilians and all these misunderstood animals, then that's definitely my dream job. And Mindy, what a great question. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that was really good. That sometimes we struggle to find topics, or just like find a lane to really head down with some conversations. But that was really good. I felt really good about all of that. So yeah, no, seriously, thank you, Mindy. I appreciate that. And I just was looking to try to kind of read up on comments. I apologize if anybody thinks I'm being rude looking off screen at my phone. I'm just looking at you guys. John. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I was going to say, so now that John Feely and Shane Kelly are both down in the comments, go to the Snakes and the Fat Man website and make sure you vote for John Feely, Definitely not Shane Kelly, because nobody likes Shane Kelly. No, go vote for some of those guys. And I said it the other night, and Chris Eaton keeps talking about this voter fraud stuff. He's like, I don't care if you've got 5 emails, 10 emails, 20 emails. Each email that you have, you can cast a vote. So if you're like me and you're going to feel bad not voting for somebody, you can go and cast, a couple different votes. I may or may not have done that. I plead the fifth on that. But yeah, thanks, Shane. We really appreciate you, man. Seriously. Again, just another one of those people. Everybody here just hypes us up so much.
Yeah, and man, I couldn't.
It gets me so excited every single time that I jump in here, and every single time that I see all the people that we have consistently from week to week. And it's not always people that I shout out loud, and I apologize for that. It's always hard for me to try to get to everybody. Nice, Jerome. Yeah, I like I said, I've got 3 emails total. Bradley, as a matter of fact, we'll have to talk about this after the fact. We've got an email address for this channel, so maybe we're
gonna flip a coin. We're gonna flip a coin and make it.
There we go.
We're gonna make it fair.
Yeah, we'll flip a coin and figure out who it is that we're gonna use that email.
I don't give a damn who you voted for on your personal accounts, and I'm not gonna say who I voted for on my personal account. But for us connected, as much support as we get from both of these guys, I'm not choosing. So we're gonna let fate decide.
No, we're not. All right. Yeah, that's.
Look at Jeremy coming in with Jeremy's coming in with Flip It Live. Flip It Live.
Oh Lord. Yeah, but you guys aren't going to know whose heads or tail. Well, I guess we could do it.
Wait. Let's.
Or do we vote?
No, everybody keeps saying, I've seen way too many things that have said they're voting for Shane. So let's let John Feely call it, and we'll flip a coin live right now.
Perfect.
John Feely called heads. He wins. John
call
Feely
heads. Send me a double-headed coin.
No double-headed coin.
All right. Wait. Do we want to flip once, or do we want to flip 2 out of 3?
We let John Feely call heads. Shane Kelly gets to choose if we're doing 1 or 2 out of 3.
Okay, I think that's fair.
So Shane, let us know. John's got heads. Shane, do you want best 2 out of 3?
Shane says once. Shane wants to go for the 50-50. All right, I figured he would.
I like it. You got a coin, Zach?
Let me see. I can probably snag one pretty quick.
We're gonna make this happen, guys. The first live on Connected by Creatures. We are gonna make it happen.
All right. This is a 1983 quarter. Heads, tails. I think you guys saw that. Tails, heads. So same coin. All right. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna flip it. Do you want me to let it land, or do you want me to catch it in my hand and flip it?
This was Jeremy's suggestion. So, Jeremy, you want him to let it land, or you want him to catch it? Let us know, Jeremy. Let us know in the comments. 83, best year ever. So, I know that we're a little bit delayed on the comment. So,
let me see if I can check it on my phone.
As soon as we find out from Jeremy, we're going to flip. We're going to make this happen. Catch it and flip it. Jeremy said catch it.
All right. So catch it, flip it on the back of my hand. One time
show.
All right.
Heads. So heads.
So that's Shane, right? Did Shane call heads?
John Feely.
Oh, John Feely. John Feely gets the vote. All right. There you go, John. That was actually pretty fun. That was a really good. You guys are freaking full of great ideas. Thank you.
Yeah. You guys should start podcasts.
I'm suddenly reminded why we need you guys for guests, because Bradley and I are not creative enough for this.
We're not creative at all. I'm so glad we have guests.
Oh man, let's see what's going on.
So congratulations to John Feely for
even though you spelled his name wrong in the comments, that's fine.
Did I really?
Yeah, you put an H in there.
Oh, it was a miss. Yep.
It was probably an autocorrect. It's all good. Mine, I do it occasionally, isn't it?
So for our vote, for our Connected by Creatures vote for Snakes and the Fat Man, we're voting for John Feely.
Congrats, John. Shane's probably kicking himself for not asking for that 2 out of 3 now.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
It's Florida's fault.
It's Florida's fault.
It's always Florida's fault.
Oh man.
Freaking COVID, man.
COVID.
So
that was awesome. I'm glad you guys were here and we did that. So this is gonna be my non sequitur into our third segment that we do every week. So this week was my week to choose our reptile of the week, and because I see them, or I don't see them anymore. And when I was a kid in Arkansas, man, I caught these things left and right. I would run through the yard and find them at least 2 times a week, sometimes more. So my reptile of the week is rough-scaled green snakes. And I'm absolutely obsessed with these things because I don't see them like I used to. And when I was a kid,
somebody else was talking about that.
I loved, like, I didn't care how many times they bit me. It was the greatest thing ever because, like, I think they're beautiful.
They are. I'll be honest. Before you mentioned them, I didn't even know that they were a U.S. species. I had no idea they were native here.
Yeah, dude, they're awesome. And like I said, growing up in Arkansas, man, I used to catch them all the time. And you know, in the past few years, when we've got to come home for different things, you know, 4th of July and different holidays, like I go herping. Like, you know, I am a field herper. Like I love to go herping. I've done it my whole life. And I haven't seen rough-scaled green snakes in a long time. And
it's really sad.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned them, I started looking into them a little bit just so that I wouldn't be completely ignorant to them by the time we got to this. And like I was watching a video, and there's a guy. He's kind of a homesteader. He's got a big property. I don't remember what state it's in. I should have probably looked at it, but it was a channel I was unfamiliar with. But it was just a neat video because he was literally just hanging out with his son, and they were same thing. They were just herping on their property, and they're walking, and his son is young. I mean, he's probably like 5 or 6 years old, and he's like, "Daddy, there's a snake." And so his dad runs over and he catches it. And it was at the same time they caught this bigger one. They actually were out there to release a tiny little baby one because I guess the dad had just found it. It was not far from where their chickens were at. So he was relocating it because he's like, the chickens will eat these things. And that's what he was telling me was saying on the video. This wasn't probably a guy that's a super expert on them, but he's an expert on his property and knows what's happening. And he was saying that I guess a lot of times that's what he sees birds getting a hold of them, whether it be chickens or, other, birds of prey and stuff, because obviously they're super green. So if they do happen to get out of the grass, they really lose that camouflage.
Oh, they completely stand out. And Mindy, we're talking about rough-scaled green snakes. And just to throw it out there, there is a smooth-scaled green snake.
I was just going to say that. And apparently those are really taking a big hit because they are insect eaters, from what he was saying on that video. And so with all of the pesticides and everything, it's really hurting the population, which is just sad to hear. I've got I don't think I've really talked about it too much, but I have a sister in Georgia who works I don't know if she still does, but she previously was working for like the Department of Natural Resources or Department of Wildlife for the state of Georgia. And she did salamander research. Mm-hmm. So she and I have had conversations before about just all the stuff that is really struggling in the wild. There's a guy I'm friends with on Facebook, Jonathan Hoflich, I think is his last name. But he does a lot of independent research on hellbender salamanders. I had no idea that they were, under so much pressure in the wild.
Those things are so badass too.
They're amazing. And again, it's another one of those species where I'm like, how is this a native species? Because when I think of like big salamanders, I think of the ones like from China and stuff, just the huge ones. But hellbenders are pretty freaking good size. I mean, they're, probably they can, like, at least from the pictures I've seen, I mean, they look a couple feet long. And for salamanders, I mean, that's a big freaking lizard, for something that lives in,
for sure.
For something that lives in like rivers and creeks and stuff and streams.
Well, I mean, if you didn't know what it was and you were wading in the creek and you walked up on that thing, like it definitely shock you.
It would give me a freaking scare for sure. Hell yeah. If I
Now,
was a kid
as
and
far
had
as
seen one of those, dude, I mean, I would have caught it.
the Chinese ones, though, those Chinese ones, like, even knowing what they are, like, if I walked up on that thing, like, it's going to
Dude,
scare the shit out of me. I'm
that
not gonna
thing, they're
lie.
as big as a freaking dog. Like,
Oh,
I've seen them.
bigger.
I think
Like, they get huge.
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
huge,
Like,
huge.
because I've seen some big ones. I don't remember if it was at a zoo that I saw them at, or if it was at the Georgia Aquarium or another aquarium. Because I've been to a bunch. But yeah, I've seen them in freaking tanks, and they are massive. I mean, absolutely massive. It's super interesting to me that a species like that can get to that size. It's they're like catfish, you know, like
Yeah.
it's super neat. So salamanders are definitely I think something interesting. And I actually, you know what, I might start. Maybe I'll get me a salamander. I hadn't thought about it since I was a kid. I had one when I was a kid.
So, at full transparency, when it comes to myself and salamanders, when I was about, I don't know, maybe 9 years old, 10 years old, my whole family went to the mall together. And when I say my whole family, I mean my great grandma, my grandma, myself, my mom, the whole family. And I talked them into buying me a little salamander. Like, please. Well, my great grandma wasn't having none of that shit. You ain't having no salamander. You ain't having no reptile. And to preface this, the only time in my entire life that my great grandmother ever gave me a spanking, it was because I walked up on her back porch with a garter snake in each hand. And
my grandparents hated them too. So you're not alone.
So anyway, my mom, oh, that's perfect. My mom bought me the salamander and took it. First stop was at my great grandmother's house. And I brought it in because I wasn't about to let it, sit anywhere other than right here in my hands. And I set it on top of the refrigerator so nobody could touch it. And I had my great grandpa set it up there because I couldn't reach.
Right.
And when it was time to go home and we pulled the thing down, there was no salamander in it anymore.
Oh no.
And so my brand new salamander that I just got, it escaped in my great grandmother's house. And
oh man, did you tell her?
Oh, my great grandpa did. He was like,
no.
he used to let that sumbitch out in the house.
And, well, and you know why he told on you was because otherwise he'd end up getting in trouble for it later.
Exactly. So, it got loose.
Or salamanders. I don't remember. I think they're at least in the same kind of family or something.
Yeah, they have to be in the same family. Anybody in the chat? You guys have a 100% answer on that? Like,
when I literally typed axolotl into Google, that was the first question that came up. So my phone must be listening to me. It is a salamander. Yeah. So the axolotl is also known as the Mexican walking fish. Didn't know that. Is a neotenic salamander related to the tiger salamander. So yeah, I figured they were based on their head shape and bodies. Thank you, Aurora.
Thank you.
I knew somebody down there would know. Good call.
So, oh man.
And actually, I just looked it up. I did not have a salamander as a kid. I had a newt. I should have known that. I knew when I said it didn't sound right. I had a firebelly toad and a firebelly salamander that I got from like a little pet shop or whatever. That was the only reptile that I seem to remember my mom ever letting me keep was those. We had turtles at one point. She did not like those because she said they stunk, but that was in the 90s.
Hey,
what the hell?
To your mom's credit, man, I just talked to Clint about it Tuesday in the Zoom meeting.
That's right. I forgot.
I've kept aquatic turtles, and I would love to keep them, but
they stink.
They get filthy fast.
Yeah.
And unless you have a convenient way of doing water changes, even Clint told me, that without spending, a lot of money, you're not going to have the filtration.
Well, I mean, you see the filtration that Barczyk has on his tanks. I mean, he's running literally like three of the filters that normally for that amount of water, he would normally only need one of. And he's running three of them for that same volume, and that's just because of the amount of waste. And he's still having to vacuum it out and everything else. But yeah, turtles they're pretty gross. I love them. I really do. Yeah,
So
you're absolutely right. 100%. My FBI agent's definitely. I'm sure I'm on a watch list somewhere or two.
So to give you guys a funny story about aquatic turtles, when Lainey was probably 2-3 years old, we had two aquatic turtles that lived together, and they lived together, cohabitated fine. There was no issues with them, and we had a common snapper and a soft shell turtle that lived together.
Yeah.
And like I said, Lainey was maybe 3 years old, and so she named the common snapper. She named him Chomper, and the soft shell turtle she named him Pig Nose. Imagine that, because
Right.
they're famous.
Yeah.
And like I had a basking log, and they would climb up on it, and like the snapping turtle would climb on the log, and the soft shell turtle would sit on his back, and they would bask together.
Yeah.
And I mean, this happened, I would say probably 60% of the time. They hung out
That's
together.
cool.
Everything was fine.
Yeah.
And we would feed them, either dog food, or we would buy fresh minnows and, watch them chase them and eat them, and, give them a little bit of, enrichment.
Yeah.
And,
Alyssa, thanks for correcting me on the amphibian thing. I would have probably got yelled at in our comments after this. Otherwise.
So Lainey was crying one day. She was feeding them, and like she just starts crying. And I like turtles. So she
favorite videos on the internet, for the record.
Right. She's sitting here looking at the tank, and she's Chomper ate Pig Nose. Chomper ate Pig Nose.
What?
So apparently what happened was there was a floating piece of food, and they were both going for it at the same time.
Oh, no, I already see where this is going.
When the soft shell turtle reached out to eat it, the snapping turtle decapitated him.
Oh, no.
And so there's a floating soft shell turtle about yay big at the top of the water with no head. And Lainey's 3 years old crying.
Oh, man.
Pig Nose
talking about your parenting earlier, at least,
So
been exposed to it now.
Just been eaten by a Chomper. And so my 3-year-old, at the time looks at me and she says, "Daddy, I want Chomper to go on vacation." Like she didn't want him anymore. He was mean. And but
that's
yeah, man,
so wild, man. Oh,
yeah.
That sucks.
And like I said, they had cohabitated together for probably 2 years. Yeah. And there was no signs of aggression.
Think about, man.
It was just going for food at the same time, and one guy happens.
You would never think about that,
right?
I would never have thought that would even happen. But I mean, I guess it does make sense. Like after the fact, you're like, I guess I should have seen that coming, maybe. But
probably wasn't a good idea to give them this floating food. But I mean, it worked for 2 years.
And that's why I'm saying, like, so you would never think about it. It's funny, the stuff that we just like generally
take for granted.
Or it's like underestimate, I guess, would be the way I would probably put it. That's so crazy. Yeah, and
I mean, like it was definitely a learning experience keeping aquatic turtles all the way around.
I'm sure, man. Yeah.
There are many different methods that I've read about as far as water heating and water cleaning and using basking lights and we toyed with a lot of that shit. Like it took us a while to get everything dialed in to where we knew that they were thriving.
Yeah,
because it was a new thing, man. And
and it's a lot to take in, and especially depending on how long ago this was. I mean, information on the internet has not always been the most reliable in general.
Yeah, this was 10 years ago. So
yeah, so the information that was out back then was basically like simple, stupid care sheets, mostly done by like Petco and stuff, and half that stuff was right.
And we know how good those are.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, literally, dude, ours. We had ours in the 90s. When I was a kid, we had turtles. And this was back again, it's the 90s. Nobody had a freaking clue how to properly take care of most stuff. and the internet wasn't a thing. That was back when people were still selling reptiles off lists that you called and sold over the phone and shipped through USPS or whatever. But yes, I mean, we had them in like literally like a bowl. I couldn't even tell you what turtles they were or what happened to them. I don't know if they died. Yeah, I mean, that's just me being real. I don't know if we gave it away to somebody. I know we had them for a couple of years, but God, those things always stunk. And yeah, we always had to change the water like constantly. Otherwise, I mean, they just got really, really nasty. But I mean, I don't remember them being unhealthy or anything. But again, I was a kid, so who knows?
Yeah, dude, they get filthy, and like Clint was saying in the Zoom meeting, a good idea is to set up an easy drainage, to where you can drain them out. And one thing that I can say about keeping aquatic turtles, and obviously Phillips kept them too, because he said he'd like another one.
Yeah.
There's no making their tank or their enclosure or whatever you want to call it look the way you want, because they will literally rip everything up and move it, and there's no aesthetically pleasing looking thing. Like they're gonna
and I was gonna say, and I think it's probably better that way. That was literally the next thing I was gonna say, is I feel like with them, those are a species that if you're gonna keep in a way that's enjoyable and relatively easy, I think that the simpler the setup, the better. Like simple, with the exception of like, hey, if you can plumb drains in, like that'll make your freaking life a hell of a lot easier, in terms of just cleaning the waters out and being able to make maintenance easy. And that's honestly, I try to take that approach with everything.
Right.
As much as I appreciate bioactive stuff and all that, and I know that it has its own level of like low maintenance style, I don't care for it. To me, it seems like a lot of freaking work and a lot of money to, maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. And I've just seen way too many people have issues. Like, have you heard of people that end up getting like fire ants or ant beds and stuff in their like reptile habitats?
I have. I don't know
how common it is. That's why I was asking, because I've heard of
it. Right. I don't have anybody that I know personally that's had that issue.
Right.
And to be 100% honest, I don't know a whole lot of people that are doing truly bioactive enclosures.
That's what I was going to follow up with.
I know one guy. His name's Joe Rosa. I think he's been in some of our Instagram before. He breeds cresties and corn snakes. He may even be in here now. But Joe's an awesome guy, and he breeds the different bugs that you need for bioactive enclosures.
Okay, yeah. There's somebody in Discord, or a few people actually. Maybe Aurora. Do you breed isopods? I don't remember. There's a bunch of people that in the Discord that breed like isopods and springtails and stuff like that. Yeah.
And,
about that.
Yeah, screw.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you, man. So I was, fire ants.
Is there a way that we can highlight that all the way around? Because I hate them bastards too. And
yeah, I'm not a fan. I've never personally been. I think I had it happen once or twice when I was a kid, smaller than anyone. Yeah, I'm sure. And that's what I was going to say. I mean, I think just most, like, I'm not going to keep a ball python bioactive just because reasons. I'm not going to keep any of my retics bioactive because their enclosure is way too freaking big and it'd be big enough work and expense. Yeah, roly-polies. That's exactly it. Like, I didn't know. Literally, I was explaining this to somebody the other day because I was telling them about, like how people make money off reptiles. And they were just like, that doesn't make fucking sense. Like, I don't understand. And I was like, well, let me really blow your mind. I was like, there's people that make side money breeding roly-polies. And he was like, bullshit. Like, no, like I'm telling you the truth, man. I was like, even it still confuses me, but I get it because I'm obsessed with any kind of. I always refer to them as like alternative investing or just like alternative economies. I get a kick out of stuff like that. For anything from sports cards to it's just neat to me.
Yeah, for sure.
That there are people making a living off stuff like that. And off just hobbies. I love it.
Anytime that I tell anybody that I breed reptiles and I'm into all this stuff, and they're like, "Oh man, do you have how much do you spend on that? And blah, blah. I was like, it costs a fair amount. And they're like, well, do you make money? Do people make money? And I was like, look, I literally know people who sell snakes for $50,000 for one snake. And they're like, who the fuck would pay $50,000? And I was like, dude, it happens every day, all the time.
Every day. Yeah. There's a lot of money. And that's why I say I get a kick out of just these like alternative economies, because it's just, it's stuff that nobody knows anything about. And it's, and it's just crazy the amount of money that changes hands. Yeah, absolutely.
Once it's proven out, Jeremy.
Dude, let me ask you this, and I kind of already know the answer. So there's a breeder. I was talking about it on Kathleen's thing. There's a breeder that has a pastel clown ultramale male for sale, and it's a little outside my price range. And I don't want the pastel. I was talking with John Feely. But he does also have a male blade clown, 66% het, that is like basically dirt cheap. Like male blade clowns that are not het for anything go for like a couple $100. This one's like $50 more than what a standard blade clown would go for. So I'm really freaking tempted to roll the dice on this possible het, just because I'm like, it could end up being exactly what I want, costing, 5% less, or like 75% less. And if he proves out, then great. If not, I can always sell him on for basically the same I have invested into him, which I don't like. That's the part I don't like. I don't ever like buying anything with the intention of like, if this doesn't work, I'm going to have to sell it.
Right.
I just don't want your opinion on that.
I mean, so if you're already working clown anyway, and
well, I'm not. That's the thing. I need clown to go into my Ultramel project.
I thought you had some het clowns.
No, I have literally zero clown in my collection. That's why I like that the male is a visual clown, because worst case scenario, if he doesn't prove out, so the female that I'm going to put him to, I have one female that I at least until he proves. Once I prove him, I've got some other females, but I have a female who's a visual Ultramel, just a visual Ultramel. So that's the perfect pairing, because I've got a shot at one of two things is going to happen. I'm going to get Ultramels that are going to be 100% het for clown, possible blades, or he's not going to prove out, and I still get double het ultra clowns.
So
I know, man. I know. I just don't. I realistically cannot afford that animal for at least another year, probably. And that's a year. That's a year that I'm going to be further behind on jumping into the project. And for a $300 investment, you know what I mean? It's hard for me to talk myself out of it. I know we talked about it last night, but it's just like I said, that's why I say I think the visual animal doesn't make sense for me to buy. It's too much money for me to spend right now. But I think for a $300 gamble, which is money I can afford to spend right now, I'm more than in other words, I'm always happy to invest time. And in this case, I have the time to prove the male out. If he doesn't prove out, I'll sell him. And somebody, as a proven breeder. As a visual male blade clown,
man.
Yeah,
I might be the opposite here,
Okay. No, and that's why I'm bringing this up. I wanted to have this dialogue because I sometimes, because and John was talking trash to me because we just talked about this late last night, like before I should have been in bed already. And I was just, how your mind races. But I was telling him that I have a tendency, just to kind of give you a background on why I'm thinking this, I have a tendency sometimes to just try to go, not the shortcut route, but just hey, this is what I can do right now. Realistically, I'm not going to be able to buy, I would love to be able to buy an Ultra Clown and just jump right into it, but I don't have $5,000. And I know that I'm not going to have $5,000, period. It's end of story. It's not going to happen. So I have the choice, and people talk about this all the time. If you can't afford the animal that you need for your collection, try to buy the pieces to make it. And so I don't have $1,000. I don't even have $1,000. I'll put it that way. I don't have $1,000 to buy an animal right now. So, but I can spend $300 and spend some time on that animal and feed him for 6 months until he's ready to go. Because I think he's about a year old already.
I'm in there like that. Okay, so Octavio said it perfect. Octavio said, basically what I wanted to say, but also,
But see, if I breed a het clown, all I have now are possible het clowns. The reason that I would start with a visual clown is so that I have 100% het ultramel, 100% het clown babies, no matter what. So in other words, then I can raise those up and either breed them back together, or I can afford at that point to buy a double het male to breed to whatever females I raise. You see what I'm saying? So that in 2 years' time, I now have visuals that I've made myself.
Yeah.
Because either way, I have to make hets, because I can't afford to buy hets and then buy a vision. You know what I mean? Or buy a pair of hets or anything like that. I'm trying to be realistic to my budget and still get the project.
That's the bottom line, Zach. Like, everybody on the planet can give you information and give you an opinion, but it's your money, bro.
Because I know there's a perfect snake and there's a perfect the right way to do it. Obviously, the easy way would be, okay, yeah, you just buy a visual ultra clown.
Yeah,
and go with it. But that's why, because I in fact, Octavia, to your point, I actually, from this same breeder, at the start of COVID, I almost bought a female. I think it was a female. It was a female visual ultramel het clown. So I was going to go that route, and then I was going to raise her up and wait until I could afford a male to put to her. But I think that's the long way. I think that's going the long way around with it, because I already have visual ultramel stuff, and I have a visual ultramel female I'm not doing anything with. I'm not like trying to convince you guys that this is I have the right answer, because the whole point was I want your input. I just think that if I'm not gonna be able to spend $1,000 on an animal, even in the next 6 months, I mean I could, but it's just I need to buy caging and other stuff. So I'm just trying to be realistic.
Right. And like I said, at the end of the day, what you can do, and what you're gonna be able to do financially. Yeah. And that's the end of it. Like, if in your foreseeable future. In your foreseeable future, man, like, if you don't have, the foresight or that you think that you're going to be able to grab this other animal that, and you want to do what you want to do with it, like, you're 100% in the clown,
Yeah. Yeah, Jeremy, I agree with you on buying females and stuff. Like I said, I already have females that are grown up and ready to breed, just not with clown in them. And so that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like I said, I understand both sides. I'm just, again, I'm trying to work in my budget and work within what I can pull off right now. And I don't have the space either. So that's why I say I've already got costs that I have to plan for. I would love to just drop the money on because the same breeder also has, like I said, he's got a pastel clown het ultramel. I'd love to buy that snake and then just pair him to my ultramel girl and skip, the roll of the dice. So I think what I'm going to do, because I talked about it with John, I think what I'll do is reach out to the breeder, because he's got some other pairings going on. Maybe he'll have in other words, if I could get just a clown 100% het ultramel, I think that would be better, because then I know for a fact that I'm going to get it to prove out. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly, Tom. And that's where I'm at. That's exactly where I'm at. I'm actually, I'm on the fence right now between buying another VE rack, for like $300, which that would make 3 of those that I'd have now, or do I go ahead and spend the money on ARS, because that's what I can afford as opposed to free and breeder? Because obviously you bang for your buck, you get a lot more, enclosures. Realistically, it's just a little more upfront, I don't know, just random thoughts that I have in my crazy ADD ultramel brain.
Well, Mr. Ultramel, we kind of talked beforehand that we wanted to kind of schedule these for about an hour and a half every Friday.
Yeah.
So we're at an hour and 40 minutes.
Yes, sir.
So I want to, honestly, from the inside me, that you guys, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for hanging out, and thank you for all the badass ideas like flipping coins for Shane and John, and
that's one of the most fun things I've done, like on a live ever. I love that. I love I think that's my favorite part of this is just the interaction, the immediate responses that we get. It's like getting to have 15 of your friends in a room and
right.
have a conversation.
It's a badass hangout, So, appreciate it. If you're watching this afterwards, thank you for coming in. Thank you for checking this out. Hit that subscribe button and the bell. Hit the like. We'll be here every Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. We love all you guys. 100%.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Seriously, like I said, I know we, I hope that we talk about it enough. How much we appreciate all y'all, because we do. I love each and every one of you guys. I read everything you guys say. If I miss comments and stuff, I always go back and Jeremy, we could probably go 3-4 hours if we really wanted to, but I think we're trying to keep it kind of reasonable, especially for people that want to come back and watch it. I know for me, when I open up a podcast that, I'm excited to listen to it, and it's 4 hours long, it's like, I don't know if I want to commit to that right now. So we're just trying to keep it realistic and also save some gas in the tank.
Yeah. And also, we plan on pretty soon, if not next week, starting to have guests. And, I
think we can do next week. Why not? We'll shoot for
that. I don't feel comfortable asking somebody for 3 hours of their time, and I feel like an hour and a half, we can share a lot of information. We can have a good time. We can hang out. And, if it rolls over, if we have a guest and it's going good and it rolls over, I'm not saying we're going to cut, there's not a time limit, but,
well, we're playing it by ear, and same thing. We'll accept any and all feedback. So if there's enough people that want it to go longer or whatever, we'll take votes on that as we go. Maybe we'll flip a coin or something. But thank you guys again for turning out for the very first inaugural episode on YouTube of our show here. Thank you guys so much. I genuinely cannot thank everybody enough. I love all you guys, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Yeah, guys, it's been great, and we love everyone that feels connected by creatures. Later, guys.
Peace.